Hey, this is Jeff Pilson. How you doing?
Absolutely fantastic, dude. How are you doing these days?
Great.
That's awesome. Hey, I got to tell you, I've had the opportunity to listen to Against the Winds. One of the things that really came to me so quickly was, in order to get Foreigner, we had to have Bad Company. In order to get Journey, we had to have Foreigner. And then came Bon Jovi. I think you guys are that band. After listening to this album, my God, this is where music needs to be going.
Wow. Well, that's a very kind thing for you to say. Thank you.
You put a lot of thought in this, because even when you're listening to the title track hit, I mean, it's the video itself is so mesmerizing because of those glass boxes. We all feel like that we're being trapped someplace, and you guys are just really taking us along for that journey.
Well, thank you. That was the idea.
But the technology that went into it, because each time someone would step out of that box, they would disappear. It was like, what? Where did that come from?
Well, cool. Again, that was the idea.
Yeah. Where did the actual video idea come from?
Wow, that's a good question. Probably the video director, I'm guessing, Enzo Mazzio.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Who does all our videos. I'm pretty sure he came up with it, but then again, I'm not there for every conversation, so I couldn't tell you that for sure.
When you were putting this together, what was the main goal and journey? Because I mean, there are so many songs on here that can make that big crossover into adult top 40, even onto a top 40 radio station.
Well, I don't know how much control we would ever have of that, so I don't know how much consideration we would give for that, but I will say our goal is, number one, we want to feature and present Deen's voice in as best a way, in as musical a way, and as just appealing a way as possible. And we want to do it in a heavy way because we're heavy rock musicians. We want it to groove, but we want it to be really melodic. So, as you know, we don't really think about top 40 radio or not, because in this day and age, that's a whole other animal.
Right.
But we certainly want to keep it melodic. And again, it's all about Deen's voice. What makes Deen's voice sound great? And that's the consideration.
Well, I love the fact that he's coming from those drums to do those lead vocals, because, I mean, you can go back to the Dave Clark 5, and Dave Clark was the one that was on those drums as well. And you've got, you know, Henley with the Eagles. I love the fact that he is really exercising those vocal cords.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, what's the question?
Well, so many times we did not know that about Deen. We always knew him as the background, yeah. And then now to hear him do this, it's like, you've got to be kidding me. It's like a diamond in the rough.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is, you know, I think a lot of people have over the years come to realize that Deen's a great singer, because with Journey, he'll come out and usually sing Faithfully or another one. But yeah, not enough people know how great a singer he is. And I love the fact that Frontiers has given him this vehicle, because I think it makes for a really stellar thing. It is. It's great that he's got the opportunity to really show off what he's got, and that he's got this vehicle to do it in, and we're just really more than happy to be there with him. Well,
that vehicle, I mean, the way that you guys are using your riffs and the way that you're doing the drums, I mean, everything is coming together. And like the song Fall on My Knees, I mean, this is a great highway song, man. Cruising, 110 miles an hour down the road. You got something really going on here.
Well, that's great. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Did it start out that fast? Did it start out? Because, I mean, I love the physical act of building a piece of music.
Yeah, well, honestly, I wasn't there when most of these songs were written, so
Mm-hmm.
I can't honestly answer that question. I know that the tracks that were given to me, that was basically where it stood. So I have no idea, but I know that, we do want to have that element to the band. We are definitely into, driving rock as well as melodic rock. So, we're really trying to fuse the two together as much as possible. So, yeah, if we get a good a good highway song in there, great.
Yeah. Well, the album cover itself, man, you talk about something that people would love to hang on their wall. I mean, it's got rage in it, but at the same time, it feels like you guys are just pushing yourself through the storm.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I personally do miss the olden days of getting the album out, and of course, the double albums, you got to, roll your joints inside of them and all that kind of thing. There was all those perks of the vinyl era. So yeah, I mean, I miss the days when album covers were really important. I think it's a cool thing when album covers really mean something. So I'm really glad you appreciate that. That's great.
Did you guys put a lot of focus on getting to the hook pretty fast? Because I mean, each one of these songs has a hook, and I mean, it's like you guys are boom there, and it's like, man, that's why I like this song, because you guys, we didn't sit there and waste a lot of time to get to that hook.
Yeah, don't bore us. Get to the chorus. Well, I will say, I think that's just in general good song arranging and composition. Is it intentionally that way? Well, yes, in the sense that we just want to trim the fat and get to the important parts of the song. And I think with good song arranging, it's all about using time so that your interest never lags. And right. I think we've done a great job of that. I credit Alessandro, our producer, for most of that. He's fabulous at these arrangements, and we want to make it interesting, but at the same time, we don't want it to take too long to get to the important parts. And I'm glad you seem to pick that up. Thank you.
When you got the chance to listen to it for the very first time after being mastered, did you envision that live audience? Because I can totally see a live audience really getting into this.
Well, I think all along we always think in the back. I think whenever you're playing on a record, you kind of think in the back of your mind, will this work live, and how will it work live, and what could we do to it? So yeah, I mean, even before it was mastered, I think I was thinking that. By the time it's mastered, you're so focused on the little minutia of what makes it, of what's going to sound right after mastering, that you sort of lose track of that. But I would say during the recording process, absolutely, we're thinking about what it's going to be like live.
One of the things that I took notice of in the song Can't End It Right Now is the fact that helping to share the story, that guitar is, I mean, that has been missing from music for so long now, that you guys are bringing that guitar back up to the forefront of that storytelling.
Well, thank you, because that is, I mean, I agree with you. Modern music has shifted so far away from rock guitars. It is a little disconcerting, but you know what? We're gonna do our part. We are a heavy rock band, so we're gonna have heavy guitars, and we're not gonna stop just because radio may not like it. Hopefully, one day radio will catch up.
How does streaming play into your game? I mean, because there was once a time when streaming was so much in the way, but nowadays everything is Spotify, because the listeners are grabbing their Spotify list and they bring it to whatever party they're doing. How do you get onto that list to make sure?
Well, streaming is a big part of our consideration right now, because it's the primary source of where people listen to music is through streaming services. And, that's rough on the artist, because the royalty rate for streaming is ridiculously bad. Yeah. So for us, it really comes down to, you do your best. We still sell physical CDs, so that's a good thing. Our audience still does buy physical CDs, so they get to see that album cover and everything. But that's an increasingly rare thing. So streaming becomes a consideration because the revenue stream is so much lower. So I think what's going to happen here one of these days is musicians are going to need to do what the actors and writers just did in Hollywood, and either come up with a strike or something to renegotiate what streaming revenue is, because it's really, really poor. And it's unsustainable. I mean, you're not going to get people being able to make a living making music pretty soon, and that's going to be dangerous. Then the standards of music are going to go way down, something we are dead set to avoid.
We also have to get a new law in there about AI technology as well, because they don't need to be stealing you, Jeff. I mean, what your success as a musician cannot be duplicated by a computer. Yeah, but unfortunately, computers can write music now, which is crazy. It's a crazy thought. But yeah, that's another, you're right. That's another big reason why there needs to be renegotiating happening, because, there's probably going to be a lot of people unemployed now that write like elevator music and that kind of stuff, because a computer can do it. So why not? And that's
dangerous.
Yeah. One of the things that I've taken note of over the past year is that people are removing the shuffle mode from a lot of their listening. They want full albums. And so for you guys to come out here with this brand new album, Against the Winds, I mean, this right here is exactly what they want. They want to go from beginning to end and, hey, let's just start it all over again.
I hope so. And I hope that that's where people are going. I mean, I would love a return to the album era. It's a great thing artistically and creatively and musically. I mean, when you have to do just singles, which is kind of where the market's been, there's not as much variety and you don't get as much depth out of the artist as if you get to hear a whole record. When you hear a whole record, you get to hear more of what the artist is capable of. So yeah, I'm hoping that's the case. I think it is the case. I know with people I know more and more, they're like, I just want to hear the whole record.
Yep.
So I agree with you that that's where things are going. I hope it goes more that way. And yes, I hope they put this record on as an example.
What song would you say would be the deep cut? Because FM radio really depended on deep cuts in the past. I mean, is there one on here that you would say, yeah, this is the one that's not going to be on the top of everybody's list, but when they hear it on this album, they're going to go, God dang, that's my favorite one.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I'd call it a deep cut by any means, but I think Changing My Mind is kind of the one that a lot of people really seem to gravitate towards. So I would have to vote that one in. And again, I wouldn't call it a deep cut by any means, but I would call it a universal cut. How about that?
Yeah. Well, see, that's the one in my notes here. That's the one that I said that was, it kicks off on the right foot because it's going to hit all formats. And I mean, the second I heard that, I immediately was like, damn, that song right there, it could is going to hit them all.
Well, I hope so. That would be great.
Yeah. Any tour plans or anything like that? What are you guys working on?
Well, tours are very difficult for these kind of bands.
Yeah.
The logistics are really difficult. It's hard to pull together. Everybody's got a day job.
Yeah.
But having said that, I'm on my last year of 9 months of a year touring with Foreigner. So my schedule is going to open up in 2025 a bit. So there's that. So I'm hoping that can help. And we'll see. We've talked about it. There's certainly a lot of pressure for us to play live, and we would love to do it if it can be made possible. So it's kind of down to the logistics and timing and schedules. But if it can happen, we would love to make it happen. So fingers crossed.
Dude, you just tied both ends together here because we started out by saying that the critics said that there would be no Journey without Foreigner. And look at Deen from Journey, you from Foreigner. My God, no wonder this is working.
Yeah, well, yeah, good little pedigree in there, huh?
So where can people go to not only support the album, but to buy the merchandise? That to me is what is so important right now.
Well, I would say go to the Frontiers shop, which is I don't have the email address or the web address handy, but it's easy to find. Frontiers Music is the record label. They also have all the merch and that kind of stuff. So go to Frontiers Music, go to the website, look for Revolution Saints or M Machine or Black Swan merch, and get some there.
Excellent, man. Come back to the show anytime in the future. The door is always going to be open for you, Jeff.
Well, thank you. You're too kind. I appreciate that.
Well, you be brilliant today, okay?
I will. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Talk soon.